Hi guys, so today I want to talk about cultural appropriation. I want to talk about Stella McCartney. So last year's Paris Fashion Week, specifically November 2017, Stella McCartney's label showcased a collection which featured ankara print, wax material that's often associated with Africa. Okay, so when you think about African fashion, let's be honest, majority of the time people think about these bright, bold African prints. Look, I'm wearing something that some would say is African print, right? And she came under fire specifically for that show because the majority of her models, first of all, were white models, so she didn't really use models of African and Caribbean descent or African or Caribbean descent, black models, African models. And the garments that her collection showcased used, again, material that people associate with Africa. Right, so my issue initially was the lack of diversity in her fashion shows. That was it. You know, for the collection, it was, well, if you're going to do something like this, at least be inclusive. I don't really have a problem, if I'm being 100% honest, with Stella McCartney's collection or label using ankara print. And I'm going to tell you why. I think sometimes the term of cultural appropriation is a little bit misleading. It can stir up outrage, which, you know, to some degrees, it's justified. But you have to know your history and you have to know logic, okay? Historically, I'm going to read a piece, right, that's going to make it clear as to why people need to be measured in their thinking sometimes when it comes to issues of cultural appropriation, specifically African print. Now, I've known that African print, wax material, is not necessarily African, okay? Historically, it's actually manufactured in the Netherlands, Europe, part one. Part two, it was inspired by batik material, which comes from Indonesia, which is where? Asia. Okay, so I'm going to read an excerpt really quickly from a blog, Messy Nessie's blog. Absolutely brilliant. When we're talking about history and understanding history, this blog, I'm going to leave a link in the comments below. And I want you just to understand, I really want you guys to understand where this came from. So Vlisco, which is a major brand that makes wax, hadn't meant to become the main supplier of wax print fashion fabrics to West and Central Africa. In fact, it's almost by accident they did. They originally had their eye on an entirely different market, Indonesia. And so we have to go all the way back to 1864, when Amsterdam entrepreneur Pieter Vintner, sorry if I can't pronounce this correctly, Van Wilsken, took over a small textile press company in Helmond, and his uncle worked in the Dutch East Indian colonies. And it was a knockoff version of traditional Indonesian textile known as batik, right? But the Indonesians did not like the material, and the mass producing aggravated the style of the material, but Central African and West African buyers did like it. So yes, look at the heritage and culture. I get it. Africans, we love this material, but we have to know our history. So to now target Stella McCartney and say that she's a cultural appropriator is a little bit inaccurate. Let's just be clear. I believe this. Now, if you want to disagree, and if you disagree with the history and the context, then please leave some comments below. Now, secondly, the designs that are in this collection, again, they're very, to me, European designs. It'd be very different issues using traditionally, specifically West African designs to make these clothes. But the designs are literally boob tubes, off the shoulder, the kind of thing actually the aunties and uncles will probably be like side-eyeing you thinking, why are you wearing this attire? We're thinking about it from the context of our communities and culture. So the designs are in keeping. They're summery, they're flowy maxi skirts and maxi dresses. So again, they're not necessarily, you know, even African inspired designs. My next point is the price point. So when I received some messages via WhatsApp from friends regarding this, and I saw the tag, I was like, whoa, people have money. People have money to spend. 400. Some of the dresses come up to over £1,000. But listen, everybody has their own marketplace. There are some people who can go into Selfridges and shop there. So Harvey Nicks, Harrods, shop there like they're shopping in a supermarket. And if you have the money, knowing that you have the money, to go and spend £1,000 on garments where logically you can go to Peckham, Lewisham and have auntie and uncle make. I'm not going to go and police how people spend their money. And let us be 100% honest. All of those aunties and uncles that we go to when we're making traditional garments. So, you know, children of diaspora, of the African diaspora, when you're going to the aunties and uncles in Lewisham, I'm speaking for London, okay? So wherever you might be watching it in the world, but I'm speaking specifically based in London, UK, Lewisham, Peckham, Dalston. When you're going to those aunties and uncles, be honest. You've already bought the fabric. When you go and give the fabric to aunties and uncles to do the tailoring, what are you saying to them? You might even haggle down the price. Are you being honest? Are you willing to spend more than 100, 150 max, even that, on garments? So be clear. I need us to be clear in terms of what are we arguing about here? Why are we acting surprised? Why are we acting offended? Stella McCartney is a fashion designer, and she is more than welcome to utilize different fabrics and styles that inspire her. You know, the only thing I genuinely found offensive was during the runway show, there was no inclusivity. But overall, Stella, Auntie Stella, if you're watching this, send me some. Who knows? If I was ever a millionaire or billionaire, me, I would go to Selfridge. Maybe I'll just go and just be, I'm wearing Stella McCartney. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be real. At the same time, I can also go and frequent aunties and uncles, whatever. When I go to Lagos, when I go to any part, if I go to Ankara, if I go to I will go and also buy clothes that are made authentically from the originators, the people who made them from back home. I know where to find them, okay? And final point, look, of all this outrage that we're talking about and we're sharing, I didn't even know that the garments were in the shop. Stella McCartney. That's how I know it's not my lane. That's not, when I say not my lane, it's not my story. She knows her market. You guys, anybody who's getting outraged, are giving her free publicity, to be fair. And now I'm thinking, oh, let me go and have a look, go and have a peek. Yeah. Well, that's my perspective. Leave your thoughts below. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.